The lights dim inside the massive America's Got Talent theater as the announcer calls the next contestant. A young man from the Philippines walks nervously onto the stage, his heart racing with every step. He's dressed in a sparkling white jumpsuit with a golden belt, a clear homage to Elvis Presley. The crowd murmurs, some chuckling softly, unsure of what to expect. The contestant takes the microphone, his hands trembling slightly, and introduces himself with a humble smile. "My name is Arvin, but people call me the Filipino Elvis," he says, his accent warm and gentle. Simon Cowell leans back in his chair, intrigued but skeptical. The other judges smile politely, waiting to see if this is another typical impersonation act. Arvin continues, explaining that he grew up in a small village where he and his late father used to listen to Elvis records on an old radio. "He taught me to sing when we had nothing," Arvin adds, his voice cracking with emotion. The audience grows quiet, sensing sincerity in his story. The camera pans across the judges, their expressions softening. As the music begins to play and the first guitar chords echo through the theater, Arvin closes his eyes, takes a deep breath, and grips the mic tightly. The stage lights turn golden, surrounding him like a halo. The moment feels fragile and full of anticipation. No one realizes yet that they are about to witness something unforgettable. As the soft melody of "Can't Help Falling in Love" fills the theater, Arvin takes a steady breath and begins to sing. The first note leaves his lips, deep, smooth, and filled with soul. Instantly, the crowd's laughter fades into stunned silence. His voice carries warmth and power, echoing through every corner of the room with a tone eerily reminiscent of Elvis Presley himself. Simon Cowell's expression shifts from mild curiosity to visible astonishment, his eyebrows lift as he leans forward, eyes locked on the stage. The camera captures the other judges. Heidi and Sophia exchange surprised looks, while Howie Mandel smiles, nodding to the rhythm. Arvin stands confidently now, his earlier nervousness replaced by pure emotion. Each lyric he sings feels personal, as if he's channeling every memory of his father into the performance. The audience begins to sway gently, drawn into the nostalgic melody. Even the stage lights seem to dance with him, glowing softly in shades of blue and gold. By the second verse, people in the front row are holding their hands over their hearts. The crowd's energy builds, their admiration growing with every perfectly controlled note. Simon whispers something to Howie, his expression still filled with disbelief. For the first time in the night, the AGT stage feels electric, not because of fireworks or effects, but because of one man's raw, timeless voice that makes everyone believe, for a moment, that Elvis truly lives again. As the song continues, Arvin's confidence blossoms with every note. The once nervous contestant now commands the stage like a true star. His voice grows stronger, richer, and full of emotion that ripples through the crowd. The camera zooms in on his face, showing the intensity in his eyes as he pours his heart into the lyrics. The band behind him picks up the tempo slightly, and the energy in the theater begins to rise. The audience starts clapping softly to the beat, unable to stay still. Some stand up, swaying to the rhythm, while others film the performance on their phones, capturing a moment they know will go viral. Simon Cowell leans forward, resting his chin on his hand, completely focused. A small smile spreads across his face, a rare sign that he's genuinely impressed. Heidi and Sophia exchange delighted glances, while Howie taps his hand against the table, clearly enjoying the performance. As Arvin reaches the bridge of the song, his voice soars, flawless and powerful. Every high note rings with passion and control. The crowd erupts into cheers before the song even ends, shouting his name and applauding loudly. Arvin smiles mid-performance, tears beginning to form in his eyes as he realizes the magnitude of the moment. The final note echoes beautifully through the hall, holding everyone in awe. For a few precious seconds after the music stops, the silence feels sacred, a breath held before an explosion of applause. The final note fades, and for a heartbeat, the entire theater falls silent. Then, like a wave crashing, the audience explodes into cheers and applause. People rise from their seats, clapping and shouting Arvin's name. He stands frozen on stage, overwhelmed, tears glistening in his eyes as he looks out at the sea of faces cheering for him. Heidi and Sophia are both on their feet, their hands pressed to their hearts. Howie gives a standing ovation, smiling wide. But all eyes turn to Simon Cowell, still seated, still staring at Arvin with an unreadable expression. For a moment, the tension is electric. Then Simon slowly stands, his face breaking into a rare, genuine smile. That, he says into his microphone, his voice cutting through the noise, wasn't an impersonation, that was rebirth. Elvis would be proud. The audience roars even louder. Arvin covers his mouth, shaking his head in disbelief. Simon looks down at the golden buzzer, his hand hovering for a moment, and then, with a firm press, he slams it. The iconic golden confetti bursts from above, raining down over the stage. Arvin drops to his knees, crying with joy as the glittering flakes fall around him. The other judges rush over, clapping and smiling, as the music swells triumphantly. Cameras flash, the crowd chants, and Simon watches proudly. It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment, the rise of a new star born under a shower of gold. Backstage, Arvin is still trembling, his face streaked with tears and glittering confetti stuck to his hair and jacket. The hosts rush toward him, wrapping him in a big congratulatory hug. He laughs and cries at the same time, struggling to find words. "I can't believe it." Simon hit the golden buzzer, he whispers, his voice breaking. His family, who had been watching from behind the stage, runs to him, embracing him tightly. His mother's eyes are full of pride and disbelief, and she keeps repeating, "You did it, my son, you made us proud." The AGT staff and other contestants gather around, clapping and cheering. The camera captures the emotion perfectly, a young man from a small village in the Philippines, now standing in one of the biggest talent shows in the world, covered in gold. The background screens replay his performance as the hosts interview him. "That was for my father," Arvin says softly, holding up a small pendant he wears around his neck. "He always told me Elvis's voice never dies, now I believe him." Meanwhile, clips of his performance start trending across social media. Millions of people share the video, calling him the new king from the Philippines. The final shot shows Arvin walking away from the stage, confetti still falling behind him, while Simon watches from the judges' table with a proud smile. The moment feels timeless, a dream realized, and a legend reborn.